Hi guys, Lindsay here with Storybook Family Farm. So this week has been pretty much a big whirlwind of a week. I've made a massive amount of progress in the living room. I did get one of the entire walls completely paneled out. I'm probably not going to shoot very many more videos of trying to do the renovation in the living room until it's more closer to done, just because of the fact that I am very self-conscious of how it's looking right now without any of the trim boards up and stuff due to how uneven the floors are, the ceilings are, and all that stuff. It's kind of like a really hard thing mentally to like open up to the public and be like, look how uneven all of this is. Like my OCD already drives me bonkers about how uneven everything is, but that's kind of part of living in an old house is things are going to be uneven. They're going to be unlevel. They're going to be unperfect and stuff. And that is very much a big part of learning a lot of grace for myself and forgiveness for myself because I've always been a very big perfectionist. And with remodeling an old house and stuff, you realize that there is no such thing as perfect. Like you cannot get to a state of perfection with it. So I probably won't show very much until it's more closer to done, at least until the walls are. So in that way, I don't have to, stress out about what it looks like on camera and, somebody pointing out that they're uneven because it's uneven. Like the house is like 100 years old. Like it's not perfect. But so the other exciting things that have happened this week is actually some of our geese actually started laying eggs this week. So we got the geese the end of last May. It was like almost the beginning of June. It was like the last couple of days of May that we got the geese. And we actually, once they became adults and stuff, we very quickly, once we realized who was a boy, who was a girl, that sort of a thing, we relatively quickly downsized so that way we just had like basically a breeding flock. If you guys hear weird noises in the background, the male turkeys are almost on camera here. So if you hear like a weird like a vibration type of noise, that's the turkeys. That's what they do. So if that annoys you, I'm terribly sorry, but I can't control that they like me and they just follow me around. But so with the geese, we weeded them down to being only 4. We had originally bought 7, so we did sell one, and then we also butchered 2. So then that way we could taste the meat to see if it was something that we actually enjoyed and if it was going to be something that was worthwhile for us to raise. Geese are not like chickens and ducks where they lay eggs pretty much like throughout like the spring, summer, and fall, and then also a little bit dappled here and there throughout the wintertime. Geese only lay in the spring, so it's kind of a big investment to get into raising geese, especially raising them as a meat source, because it is such a long duration of time for them to start laying eggs that you really got to make sure that you know this is something that you want, that you know that this is something you want to proceed with, because otherwise you're waiting an entire year just to test the meat, and that's not very advisable. Just because if you spend that much time feeding them a year in and you're already emotionally invested into them and you don't like the quality of the meat or the taste of the meat, then you got a really long living pet that you're going to have to do a lot with and deal with a lot of honking and loud noises. So it's kind of a big deal. But so this week they actually started laying. So that was a hugely exciting thing. That's actually why we bought a secondary incubator, is because of the fact that the one that we had could not handle the size of goose eggs. And I thought, it's probably like the size of a duck egg. Like they're really not that much bigger than the ducks. But boy, let me tell you, when they started laying, I was like, oh, now I understand why we need a bigger incubator. These things are easily twice the size of a duck egg. Like I have really big hands and they stretch from this side of my palm to this side of my palm with ease. Like they go out past it. They're like 4 inches long. Like these things are huge. The duck eggs, they're about the size of a jumbo egg that you get from the store from a chicken egg. And the geese eggs are almost twice the size. Like it literally, the first time I found it, I was like, when did the dinosaurs come back? Like this is huge. Like, did we get ostriches? Like what is happening? Like I like panicked a little bit because I'm like, oh God, like what happened? Because I was not anticipating that it would be that stinking huge. They're massive. So we are actually saving the eggs. I would show you guys the eggs, but the geese laid them in mud, just like the ducks always do. And I can't wash the mud off until we're actually getting ready to put them in the incubator, because it'll remove a part of the bloom, which is the protective coating that a chicken, duck, or goose, or quail, that they actually put over top of the egg as it's coming out, that actually helps seal in the egg to keep it safe and sound. Otherwise, I would show you guys, but I don't want to show you guys a really muddy looking egg because it looks like a giant rock. Like at first I was like, is this even an egg? Like this doesn't look anything like I thought it would. but definitely an egg. But yeah, so once we get a more clean looking egg, I would definitely show you guys, because it's pretty impressive how big it is, because it's like this big on my face. Like it's pretty cool. But so beyond that, we also, like I said, we made more progress in the living room. Today we went to Menards and picked up a new light fixture for the bathroom, because above the vanity there is just bare wires and stuff. They're not electrified, not turned on. Like, I got to replace the wires and stuff. I got to make it so the wires are longer, so that way it can work for the existing vanity that we do have, because I actually put the wires in before we had a vanity. So I didn't know where the light fixture would end up going, all that stuff. It's about 6 inches too short, so I'm just going to have to pull that out, put new wires in, cut a different hole. Not a big deal. So that's exciting, because the light that we got at Menards, it was only like $25, and it looks like a DNA helix, so it's pretty cool. I like weird funky stuff, so that was a neat find. It took a little bit of convincing for Tracy, because it is one of those ones that you can't like replace bulbs. It's like a LED integrated type of thing. So it did take a little while of convincing her that we should just go ahead and do this, because it's cool and it's cheap, and it'll work for exactly what we need it to do. So that is very exciting to have that light. Probably on Monday or so, I will probably swap them out, or might wait till Wednesday. I'm not sure yet. I haven't quite decided as to timeline, because honestly, guys, doing the living room is taking so much out of me. Like, when I was doing the paneling and stuff yesterday, like by myself, there was a lot of choice words that were said, a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, because everything is so uneven and so unlevel, that it was very difficult. And the people that owned this house before us, will you boys move? You guys are just all up in the way. Go. They're like super crowding into me, and I'm like, I can't even stay focused on this. Like, terrible. But so the people that owned our property previous to us, they had tried to add some weird kind of funky texture to the wall that I was working on in the living room, and it made it so it was pretty much a ginormous nightmare for me to add paneling to it, because everything is so wonky already and uneven, and then you add in big chunks of plaster. It's just a recipe for frustration and disaster. So I actually had to take my multi-tool to use it essentially as a sander to then take off a whole bunch of plaster, just so I could at least try to get a more flush mount for the paneling. It was very hard. So originally today, Tracy and I had planned on working more on the paneling, but I kind of vetoed that, because I'm like, I need a break. Like, I can't in good conscience just keep pushing myself like this when I'm at this point of frustration, and just keep going with trying to do the same thing. It's like beating my head up against a wall. Like, it's not a fun experience. But yeah, so we also got another light for in the laundry room, which is in addition to our kitchen. So then that way it does sort of somewhat match the kitchen light that we just put in recently. So it is nice to be able to really have a lot more things squared away with doing the electrical in this house, because the whole house pretty much needed rewired except for Willie's bedroom and our bedroom. Those were the only rooms that had already previously been rewired, but our room, when we got it, it only had one outlet. So I mean, it's a start. So there's still a lot more wiring that I have to do, and we actually had to go to Menards today so I can get more wiring, because we ran out and stuff. So that'll be nice. That'll be probably this week's project, is to try to get more of the wiring squared away, get more of the paneling done up, so then that way our living room is not an active construction zone anymore, at least for the time being, because it's really hard with having 4 dogs in the house and 2 cats to try to do construction in the exact room that everybody lounges in. Like, it's been tough trying to work around all of the chairs and the doggy bed and just all this stuff. It's been frustrating. This room has been a very big eyesore for a very long time, and it's also been a very big point of frustration with trying to get it done. So hopefully in the next week or so, I will be able to sing a much different tune and be showing you guys how excited I am that the paneling is done. I am glad that we did not do drywall, because of how uneven the walls and stuff are. I feel like when we were to install the drywall, it probably would have all just cracked, and then I would have had to then do a lot more mudding. And I don't really like drywall. But so I'm gonna hop off here because we actually have a few bits of things that we want to get accomplished before the sun goes down, and plus these guys are kind of driving me bonkers and stuff. It's very hard to stay focused when they're like the entire time. So anyways, if you guys are enjoying this content, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends on social media, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to help us grow. We'd greatly appreciate it. All right, thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys.